Hey guys, Mike with Aftermarket Assassins UTV Performance here. We're going to go over the Ranger 1500 ECU flash. So it's an ECU and TCU flash. So it's flashing both modules. There's a separate transmission controller for these. We're going to flash both. And right down here, I'm going to show you. We're going to start off with how to hook this up. So when you get this flash from us, you are going to get this jumper. So what this jumper does is jumps the can lines together. There's two separate can lines for the TCM and the ECM. They need to be jumped together for the HP tuners device to work properly. So we got our MVPI3 here. There will be an RTD in the future that's able to flash from your phone. Right now, at the time of this video, we can only use this MVPI3 and our laptop with HP tuners software. This is how we have to flash it. This works great. Download the software, very easy to do, basic computer skills needed, but this is a setup. We have an adapter cable for Polaris that comes with it as well. This can jumper, ours is really rough. This is our first version. Yours will look a little better, but that needs to be plugged in when flashing only. You can disconnect it. It is a little iffy when you flash with this and then run it. Sometimes I've had where it won't want to start or it doesn't want to, shift into gear. I would always disconnect this when running. Only use this if you need to. If we need a day log from you, you will have to use this while running. And it normally works fine, but there's just some issues, so I wouldn't leave this can jumper plugged in normally. We go over here, HP Tuner software. We're going to send you the tune. There'll be instructions on this. I'm not going to go over every little detail. We're going to Control W. You'll read your tune out. We'll send you a file based off your stock file, and you will write, and there's both TCM and ECM. You'll see that there, and you can write both. You're going to need to write both. Again, this can jumper needs to be plugged in to write both. This is going to send our tune into it. The cool part is we can go back to stock. It's not a true stock. You're going to void your warranty by doing this, so know that. Polaris will not be able to plug into your vehicle and do anything really once it's sent to us for unlock. So this does have to go to HP Tuners for an unlock process, and that allows the HP Tuners device to work with the ECU. So the ECU has to be sent in. TCM you can keep right on your vehicle. We will have some options online on how to do this. It gets a little complicated right now, but the TCM, if you're flashing it with this device and not sending it in for just a bench flash, this is the better way to do it. I would say everybody should buy this flash device, flash it themselves. The reason being is we're going to have several tunes for this. Our main tune, 91 octane tune, is a performance tune. It works great all around. We also have an eco tune, which is going to be lower RPM, a little lower on the cruising RPM, but your max RPM isn't going to be so high. It's going to shift. You're going to notice it's more torquey. It doesn't build as much power because you're not building as much RPM, but that is going to save your fuel economy. Our fuel economy tune is also a little bit leaner, which helps with fuel mileage. These things run pig rich from the factory, so we help that out in our regular performance tune. We also further help that out in our eco tune to help you get the best mileage. Even at idle, these things idle really rich, so we fix that and do things a little bit differently. There's a lot of emissions things that have to go in for Polaris to do this vehicle, so we can work around those a bit and make it a lot better. So the eco tune, be able to switch to that. We'll have winter tunes, which are a higher fan temp. The higher fan temp is going to increase your coolant fan on-off temp, but not only that, it also, there's a progressive ramp-on fan, right? So it comes up, it's PWM controlled, so as the engine temp gets hotter, it's going to ramp that fan up sooner, whereas our tune is going to make that fan not ramp up as fast. So when you're sitting here idling like we are in the winter, and it's cold out, it's going to bring that temp up. You're going to have to block the radiator to get any benefits, when cruising down the road at any speed, but at least when you hop in the vehicle, you're going to get nice warm temperatures. It's going to warm up quickly at idle. So we have some different things. We may have some updated tunes in the future. Right now, there are some other people out there that are shifting these things out further and claiming, over 80 miles an hour with, factory tires on it. And we've experimented with this and talked to some people that have been involved in the project on this Ranger. I just have a hard time doing that with such a new vehicle. We're keeping the stock shift out on this. We're not shifting that belt any further to avoid any long-term issues, these things still run 78 miles an hour with 32-inch tires on it. So they're not slow. I don't see any need to further push that limit, so we're not going to. And I think that's a safer, better way to go. Get your acceleration. You can still run down the road at 65 miles an hour, no problem, and have some passing gear to get around somebody if you had to, if you're using these things on the highway like we do. There are a ton of torque limitations within these transmission controllers to save this transmission, as well as built into the ECU. We work around those as best as possible to get you better performance, but we're not sacrificing your reliability in some of those limitations. So we really have done a lot with this. This tune has been a huge project for us, and we haven't taken it lightly. We really want to make the best tune that is possible, and I think we've done that. So without further ado, let's go test this thing. Okay, we just loaded the stock tune back into this Ranger 1500. We're going to check out what our 0 to 60 and other times are right now. Okay, stock run, Ranger 1500. Seconds. Okay, this is AA level 1 tune, and we're going to rip it on the draggy. Do a 60, 11 seconds. This is the AA level 1 tune again. This is for 91 octane. We are in sport mode, and we're gonna let this rip again. Reset the draggy. A little bit of wheel spin on that one on some gravel. We got 10.83 seconds instead of 11 that time, a little bit quicker. We'll do one more. Okay, we have run 3 of the level 1 91 octane tune for Ranger 1500 coming up. We'll see what we can get here. On that one. All right, we're gonna go over these draggy results real quick. So huge gains. I mean, this is an unbelievable performance difference. You can just feel it right when you hop in. Going back to stock for me right now after driving this thing for, I don't know, 1,000 miles tuned or more, it's it's terrible. 12.51, 12.55, those were our stock runs. This one was invalid, accidentally recorded. We dropped down to 11.7, 10.83, and 11 flat. So I mean, you average that out. I mean, that's 11, 10.9 being average there, and we had a little bit of slip too. There was a little bit of loose gravel on the road, so it might even improve with the tune because it slipped a lot more than the factory tune. The factory tune didn't have a whole lot to turn the wheels through that. So, there is really good 0 to 60 results. Huge, just down low. Just you get into it, you can feel this tune happen, and really transfer the power to the rear tires. That's our 91 octane performance tune. Awesome. Comfort mode works just like factory, maybe a little bit higher RPM, but barely, and still gets up and goes when you punch it. The sport mode is definitely where it's at when you're trail riding. I mean, this thing gets up and hammers down. So great tune. Those are the results. Hope you enjoyed this, and hop on aftermarketassassins.com and grab your ECU tuning now. Thanks. All right, I'm going to show you how to write your tune file. We're going to write the economy tune for the Ranger 1500 here. Right now, key is off, key needs to be on. Make sure it's the second click. Gauges will come on. Go over here, and we're going to go up. And your file has to be open. So you'll see at the top, I've got the file name open. It's an Eco T4. It's our current file name. We're jamming here. All right, we're going to click this red down arrow, which is write vehicle. This is vehicle writer. So you can see we have the TCM and the ECM here. These can be written separately. You can click on this and say we don't need to write the transmission controller right now. You can hit do not write and then click right at the bottom. It'll only write the one controller. That's pretty rare. You should be writing the calibration on both 90% of the time. Make sure, a little dark to see down here, but we do have our transmission jumper plugged in. Everything's stuffed down here for the HP Tuner's device, but everything's plugged in. Our CAN jumper, our wire, our converter, and the MVPI3. So we're going to go ahead and write this calibration. You need an internet connection, so make sure you have Wi-Fi connected to your laptop. And this is going to go ahead and write the TCM first. This is a really quick process. All right, now it waits 15 seconds before trying the next controller, so that's just a pause between flashing the two. Processing flash data, this is using internet, so if this is going really slow, your Wi-Fi connection isn't great, or your Wi-Fi just isn't giving you much internet, but that should go quickly, and then it should go right to erasing. This will erase the calibration data in the ECU. Do not turn off the key or disrupt any power or your laptop or any of the cables during this erase and write. That will cause an issue with the ECU and it'll need to be recovered. And that's it, validating. It's going to say write complete here in 2 seconds. Write complete. We're going to hit close just so we don't accidentally hit write again. Fan's going to come on, you'll notice. That does that when it's done flashing. We're going to flip the key off. We're just going to wait a few seconds for it to power down. Wait about 5-10 seconds. And we're ready. That's it. You can disconnect your CAN jumper and your MVPI3 when you're done flashing. Put that away. Don't need it. And go ride. Alright, we're going to show our economy tune for the Ranger 1500 and what this does. This drops your peak RPM by around 500 over stock and makes a big difference down low yet. See our shift out, 5200, and it'll climb up from there. Once you start going higher in speed, it will climb out in RPM just like any tune or any vehicle would. But the important part is at lower speeds, when you get into it, you'll notice much lower RPM and still accelerating very well. These motors have a lot of torque to them, so the economy tune has no problem being pulled around with these Rangers and the weight of the vehicle, they work very well. And it's a great option. I love cruising this thing around with this tune in it. It's so much better on the roads. Like, we use this quite a bit. On the trail, I mean, it's still going to work well. Your sport mode's going to have a little less RPM too, but it's still going to be way more responsive down low. It's going to come out of the corners way better. You're just not going to have that higher RPM, that peak RPM pull, but still works great all around. I would suggest, always getting the MVP i3 device or the RTD when that comes out for these, and that will be your number one thing to have. Alright, here is our economy tune, Ranger 1500. And basically match stock right there. That's not bad for being 500 RPM and less. That's a win, I would say, for being an economy tune. You're basically right back with stock, but you're going to get a lot better fuel economy. You're not going to rev out so much. It's going to be more of a torquey tune. You're going to feel that transmission want to shift instead of, just rev up as much. All right, this is our economy tune, run number 2. You kind of feel that bog down, that RPM pull out of it. 12.17 0 to 60, so that actually beat our OEM tune, so that's huge. We're going to show you how to remove the ECU on the Ranger 1500 here. So I have this coolant bottle removed. There are 3 Torx bolts, one up kind of on the top here, right next to the ECU, hard to see, and there's 2 under the bottom. Those are T30s. You need to remove those, and then you can just flop this coolant bottle back like that. You can leave it there. Obviously, we have the bed tilted up already. That's first step, but your ECU is here. It's the silver control module. Your transmission controller is this black one right here. Normally, if you're using the MVP-i3 or the RTD flash device that we're selling, you can flash your TCM on your own. We don't need to send that in for any unlock, right? So that can just stay in, unless you're sending it into us for a bench flash. We don't suggest that. We suggest flashing it with the other devices if possible. But this guy's got to come in. This has to go to HP Tuners for an unlock process. That'll unlock it so the tuner will work with it and we can communicate with it. So we just remove the 4 Torx bolts. These are T25s. I've got most of the way out here. I'm going to grab my wrench, get in here, block the view a bit. Okay, so all 4 of our bolts holding the ECU in are now detached. These are just flip locks. Very easy to use. If they're dirty, you might need to blow them out. Flip that all the way back till you hear it click. Wiggle, pull it out straight. Flip it all the way back. Wiggle, pull it out straight. That's it. Send this to us. Make sure you package it well. We'll send you instructions as well.